Right. So first things first. There we go. Way better. Um, so 24-hour candles, and at this point, guys, you can also take a look at the monthly candles, right? And just to see where we are at. And I get the feeling that this has two potentials, right? Strong monthly candle inside of a range, right? So with that being said, either next week we're looking at a fat drop back down to a floor, maybe, or we should be anticipating going and touching the highs. That's not the highs, and potentially breaking into new highs, right? We move down to the weekly, and you can kind of see how, because this is on the weekly, it is a box, right? And you're fiddling with cost basis. You've got a fat gap underneath you with a retest under down to 490. So if you're one for speculating on a potential break below 500, which is what this would take, 490 would be the target there. But we are not doing a great job at progressing. Now, sellers are also not doing the most wonderful job at pushing price lower and passing that baton, as we say. And I think that's worth noting. So today, or moving down to the 4-hour, this is either A, you're speculating far out, or B, you're waiting, because this little channel here is either going to collapse, right? And it's holding really, really well. Points of contact are on point. Or next week, and this is where we can look at what's going to happen next week in June. And we got ISM manufacturing. We got Fed Chair Powell speaking on Monday. We've got JOLTS job openings happening on Tuesday, ADP non-farm employment change and ISM services, unemployment claims, and average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change and unemployment rate. So we have some decent spotty data that's going to be coming in next week, as well as the potential for Trump to, who knows, do anything. So either you, like I said, you're speculating down for the gap fill, or at this point, it's tough to kind of, I'm looking at the close here and the punchback, right? And if we can make it above 522.86 or close up against that, that might change my mind. So we'll see what the end of the day brings. You're moving pretty well at the moment. 15-minute time frame. You've got two boxes stacked on top of one another. So you might be able to pop out, and that's where you have that empty space all the way up to 525. So we do have, oh, that is right. Is quad witching is next week. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Lovely.
So I'm just going to throw this out there. Again, speculate all you want, but when I look at what is in front of me right now, it really feels like what this was. Right? So again, I might speculate on something to the downside. Again, I'll wait for the close. This big overhead candle is obviously one of the root causes for me to feel that way, because ultimately it would take a recovery back outside of that 522 in order for us to look up into the remainder of the empty space, which again, that rejection happened off of a pretty massive overhead level, or pretty much on that, right? You got within a half dollar of hitting that, and you are already falling in pre-market. So this could be continued chop, and if it is quad witching is next week. So, and if you don't know what that is just basically a mass expiry where contracts across all markets are expiring simultaneously, and this can cause people to utilize those contracts, which can cause some really wild price action. Especially intraday. So think of it this way: like if you're actually using these um, options, right? In our case, if you're actually using those options and they expire, this is quad witching. You are faced with a decision on whether you're going to, if you have puts, if you're going to sell your shares, if you have, options, if you're going to utilize them or exercise them. So it could be a weird week. I would just say prepare yourself and be patient going into this week. So, SPY again, it's in range, and you can trade off of wanting to catch something or FOMO, or you can trade off of what you see in front of me or in front of you. And at the moment, I again, I'm sure anything can happen over the weekend, but that's not a signal, right? Anything could happen. It's just you being scared of missing out on a big move. If you miss out on a big move and it wasn't on the chart, oh well, suck it up. Because the times that it doesn't work, unless you're somebody who could afford it, you take something and then it opens up in range and we don't do anything. I think inevitably we're going to go fill this gap, even if that means more sideways action in here, because we'll get that 1 2 1 2 and then probably 3 3. So 1 second. I lied. 2 seconds. All right, we're done. All right. Need some water. Is the gap up or down? The gap is down. There is. Was I tripping? No, there's not a gap. I mean, there may be on the daily, but there's empty space up to 607, and that's that doesn't happen unless you cross 598 or get over the highs. So, all right, last one is IWM, and this one wild. And what I really want to do is kind of back out and look at where we're at on the weekly again. When this is actually something I don't know if this is where you almost have to move sectors. When you have weekly candles opening up inside of one another, that can be tough, right? And we have the perfect climate for that to happen. Now, some parts of me see the fact that you're sitting underneath 207, and I'm like, well, that's bearish. But whatever's underneath us on the 24-hour is still holding us up enough. And with that pretty nasty wick down to 196, there's really no telling at this point. And so, again, I reserve the right to, be patient. If you're going to take something, you can use these lower time frame walls, but you got quite a few of them you need to break over, like 208.12. So I don't really see any reason for me to be taking anything. Not at the moment. Not on the ETFs, because all of them can be tracked in something that looks like this. I guess IWM could have a move down to 199 again, but that's something that might happen on open. So again, we'll look at the close. If something explosive happens, we'll take that into consideration. So you look more like Anakin Skywalker than Harry Potter. All right, I'll do it.
Focus, people. Focus.
There you go. Yeah, there will be a link. I'll make that. I'll make it this afternoon. I gotta go birthday shopping for my son after the bell. It's birthday next week, which we're doing it on Tuesday, so don't expect me to be around a whole bunch. All right. Where are all your sons? There's just one of them, hopefully. All right. If you have anything that you would like for me to take a look at, I would be happy to do that now. What is that? I have this witch. That's triple witching. June 20th. Exchange holiday. I could have sworn I saw something on it earlier. Monthly option. Okay, so May exchange holiday. Monday? Oh, we already had that. Oh, so wait, do we have a 3-day weekend again? Oh, never mind. I'm tripping balls. I'm looking at the wrong month. Okay. All right. Well, we'll look into that. I guess if it's not next week. Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking at this calendar. It doesn't look like there is one. So, all right. Let's see here. We've got lift. Hmm. So you got a candle close. What are you sitting on? You're not really sitting on. You bounced off of that one wick, but you're staying underneath there. That's where you pushed off of today on the 24-hour. And that's where you're stuck in between. So it's really, you know, I want to say yes, but a lot of the times you'll come back up. And if you can do that quickly, that's the retest you need to continue down, where you have a pretty solid target right here at 1470. Yeah, me personally, I think I would kind of let that one retest. Or if you're already in, maybe a hedge for that move back up there. But maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean, yeah, you are. So if you do take a short, you would need 1550 as your stop loss 100%. So, and I'm gonna do one request at a time, busy. So I'll do Neo and then try to get back to those other ones. Cost basis. I have left this on my chart a long time ago. So this is where you can bounce and go back up. You got empty space to the upside on the 4-hour. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I could see a bounce or a move over 357 to go retest the 360 floor. You got a gap up there too as well. So it might just be, and you punch down below that box. So it might just be the floor right there. That's where you go up. So continuation, the downside, I think, could be off of where you left empty space below. Um, yeah, that one I think is just, you need to have the right confirmation on this one. I mean, you're at cost basis. I don't like taking things until they either close directly at them, but you are responding. So I could see a retest. That's what I see in front of me. Um, if it does break it down and you are already short on this, I'd say 338. Oh, they got ER next week. I don't know how much Neo responds to its ERs. Yeah, it's not very much of an it. Here you get a decent move from 430 to 484, and then 560 in 2 days after that. But it seems like for the most part, the earnings moves are not super consistent. So, Tesla actually did. I think we talked about that yesterday. A rejection off a cost basis. loss of the floor, and you collapsed right into that little gap. Run.
Yes, chef.
That one looks like a retest of 764. If you want to go higher, that's where you need to break. The next target to the upside would be $8. And that's, of course, looking at just you have a shit ton of empty space. So realistically, that would be my main concern is how are you ripping? Right now, you're holding 718. Yeah, that's a little weird. You got a little 30-minute channel here as well. So halfway up would be around 850. That's a really weird. I mean, you did bounce off cost basis. So, I mean, that's saying something. You've spent a couple of days on that mark. So, yeah, sun run above that high. HPE. Uh, what are you doing? Earnings next week. All right, so I'll just give you earnings, the targets that I see in front of me. Um, Downside, I could see a 1550, and again, it does move. From what I can hear, it doesn't move very well. Not very well. Okay. Oh, pretty good. Not good. So hit or miss, but you are in consolidation, so I'd be aiming up either at 19 or down at around 1550. So um let's see here. Tesla down to 340, stop loss the top of the box. So what happened today? Right? That's the main thing. You came back down, you retested or tapped the top of the box, right? You have what I think is a pretty damn good channel. If it's popping off, Mike, it's too late for me. I could see 340, sure. Let's look at the 2 hour. Okay, empty space. You're retesting. Yeah, I mean, you 1, 2, retest the top right here. Let's see, 30-minute. That's a little sketchy. I feel like you should see at least a retest of 356.84. That's a lot of empty space above you, and that's accessible. So either A, right, you retest this at 352, maybe you do that now, and that determines whether you do that or you reject. And I would use this to kind of look for a short, but I kind of see this with everything, guys. I see this with everything. I do see how Tesla's trying to hook into that box underneath you. And what time frame is that you're looking at? Okay, even if I go here. I'm waiting for the bigger move, everybody. The confirmation. So if let's just say I did want to take Tesla, I have a perfectly sound box underneath me with a gap fill at cost basis. If cost basis breaks, we immediately target the floor. And that would be right here at 322.75. And obviously looking for a break through that box to head down for a retest. But again, to me, this looks like something that could, yeah, go maybe get that gap, but even there, we could be in for a little range. Might just fucking skip next week. God damn. Nah, there's one sec. There's always something running.
The Q's running.
Yeah, I'm watching IWM hit my target right now. That was actually empty space, punch back 205.50. So now you're at the
I got the 520s for the Q's.
Hmm,
I made 100% like in 10 minutes.
that's beautiful. Yeah, I see it. I will say, on days that I don't feel well, um, I try not to take too many day trades personally. I feel
That's
like
too
my
stressful.
I feel like my brain is seeped in molasses right now. Why is Manny FaceTiming me right now? What the hell? I can't. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Say hi to the chat.
Maricón.
All
Hello.
right. Let me let me call you back. My heart goes out to you. Love you too. Bye. Jesus Christ. It's the third time he called. I had to answer. He's apparently sitting by a mosque. So EMPH looks like it had a successful move outside of the range. So this is what I would do in this case is obviously you can measure the whole empty space, but I'm going to look right here. That wick is perfect. So I would say 42. If you can break that, aim for the floor. Fuck the channel. Is it okay to be a PDT trader? Like a pattern day trader? I mean, I would get off margin and get into a cash account. Me personally, having to worry about. I mean, if you're honestly, sometimes for some of you, maybe you fucking need it. Maybe you don't need a day trade every day and need to have some sort of restriction. Okay, so PLTR, and I know I heard you talking about this one earlier, Chad, as you squeezing your cheeks, as they say. Um, so this is, yes, one of two things. This is either a nasty retest, right? And you're seeing the results of that pullback. I think what's underneath you, right? So look at how it responded. It came all the way back down and is now reversed all the way back up. You go to both time for all the way down and it's mostly empty space. And you made empty space on the way down as well. So I would start mapping this out because ultimately this is how range begins, right? You could start an uptrend here and go make a new high, but this is how a range oftentimes begin with a wide move up and a wide move down. And you can go and like look back at how some of those rate, like look right here, big wide up, big wide move down, big wide move up, pull back, gap up. I mean, it's just kind of a mess. But that being said, right, 2 hour candle, 4 hour candle, all pulling you back up. So if sellers can't make a stand, this is something that at all time highs could easily be let loose. And I was charting this one while you were talking about it, and I was looking at this channel here that I had kind of put together. I like the channel because when I kind of shrink it down, it holds it's adherent. So like if I was to do something like that, but even if I just left it like that, that shows a target of all the way up at 160 basically. And I think as far as equity is concerned, I don't have as much as I used to, obviously, but that's what I would like to see. So if you have a heavy position and you are in the upside, you need to look at what the worst case scenario to the downside would be. And that would be moving back down through the structure that's underneath you, punching under 119 and moving all the way down to 110.50.
Yeah, those are similar to the numbers you've had previous, so I appreciate that. My concern is the Qs and SPY making a big move down because this follows it quite a bit,
Yeah.
quite closely.
The
So
thing
I was
that
just
could
gonna I was gonna trim some of my position, which I probably will.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably look at like weekly contracts too, with today's high of day as a stop loss. The thing that so if I was looking at it from a bearish outlook, it would be like, well, usually you get three tests of a wall. If this fails, I notice that this floor is just kind of floating, right? And you've spent a great deal of time trying to, you know, break it, if you will. Um, you've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I mean, more if you count this, damn near 12 days in range. And then to go up and to fail on that breakout would require that next week sees positive movement to the upside, right? From all three, to your point, SPY, Qs would need to see, and I don't see that quite yet. Um, looking at it right now, I feel like it's one of those things that, we could pull one of these numbers. I've seen that happen way too many times. And then make that new high. So with PLTR, I think, if you have a position, your equity, or if you have equity, yeah, this could be a good
I have
option.
both.
You have both equity options. Okay, then yeah, I would say some sort of weekly, looking at the empty space, looking at the worst case scenario. That's really what I'm doing, is I'm gonna grab some weekly hedges on PLTR, uh, targeting that, staying far out of the money, so that if we did get a major move down, I would know, okay, well, underneath 119, that's it. There's no reason for me to hold. Um, IWM hit my target right on the dot, and just sitting. All right. Pepsi
Thank
upside.
you.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I'm not going to touch it until 133.20, which has an alert set on it. When you respond to a ceiling like this, like, don't get me wrong, Pepsi is going to make a move. And the next month, I could almost, you know, uh, yeah, it's like inevitable, right? That this thing is likely going to make a move, and that could be over 133, and make its way through this box into that empty space. But we have a good trigger, and this takes me back to Nike, right? And I remember talking about Nike. We charted Nike, um, all that good shit. Or was this? Yeah, it was over here, and we had a trigger, right? Now we closed up against that wall, right? And that was where one could speculate. You didn't really have too much pushback. And so you can look at what you have, but you still had a trigger up above you. So when you look at, oh, I thought it was way closer. When you look at Pepsi, right? I think the real question is, are sellers pushing back? I don't think so. So if you wanted to speculate, yeah, 1, 2, 3, top, cost basis 134.21. This could be a place to do that. But anytime I take something speculative, this is me personally, I take a cheaper, out of the money, target based hedge to the downside. So yeah, I'm not going to argue that it looks like it's ready to go. 1, 2, 3. How much pushback? What do you have underneath you? You look to the back or to the behind you, and that's what you have, right? 131. All right. What are you looking for in this one, John? Up, down, up. Keep it simple, right? 4 hour. That's the top, 136. 138 looks like cost basis above you. There's a gap on the 24-hour that I noticed right there at 140. So, I mean, you have accumulation, which is what you need. And it looks like it's for, sellers really aren't doing a great job. So this could be something that, news or who knows, but yeah, that's what I see. Good start, but ugh. ACHR Potter is sponsored by Saratoga. Nah, not yet. I gotta start racing fucking German shepherds down the road. ACHR breakout, new high, punchback, and retracement. Retest of the 1150 wall, pullback, cost basis, old cost basis is 975. But realistically, right, this is where that box is no longer relevant. And this is what is relevant. And this is what is relevant. So my thoughts on this one is you probably would like to see a 930 retest before you make any sort of bounce, reversal, anything to the upside. So yeah, I'd be looking at 925 down. Bro, you knew ULTA, that was awesome, man. Did you make money off of it? Did anybody in here make some dollars off of ULTA on TikTok?
That's okay, yo.
Why? Yeah, that was
Those cues, 520.
yep. I'm watching IWM right now. So I see 525.18. But listen, is it good risk to reward? Can you be patient? Do we know that listen, if it doesn't feel right, and ask yourself that question, does it feel right? Does it look clear? For some of you, you need to ask yourself that more than others. Is what you're looking at clear? If it's not, if it's chopped, if it's a smaller, lower time frame move, right? Then, or the contracts don't fit the script, we're not doing it. You took ULTA? Beautiful. Okay. Dustbuster. Dust. Where are you? He's having a moment. Don't worry, guys. He's just listening to his favorite song in the bathroom. All right. Let's see here. Zoomies? Is that even zooms? What the fuck? So with two lines, we should be able to kind of map out the story here. Okay. You might not want my opinion. This is not something that, you know, my favorite thing in the world. Potential positives here, it's at a super duper low. It looks like it's lost a lot of volume, even to the downside. It's coming off of a weekly floor, but 1350, 1360 needs to break. I see like some potential like to get to $18 there, for sure. But this is definitely something that you got to have some time, even even if it did just straight up break out, you know, there's a lot of really choppy, slow movement. I would make sure the contracts fit that as well. So, Elf, yeah. So I'm still holding the remainder of my Elf. It's nice to see it hold up today, but we did not do what we needed to do, and that is get to 123, which is where I want to see Elf. Luckily, we've established a floor, right? And I have that right here, and that's the best I can do at the moment is mark out where price is holding and where price is rejecting, right? So this is your box, and if we can get outside of that, I'd like to try to get to 123 and up to 129. But it is equity, so Walmart looks good. I mean, as good as Walmart can look. Good candle, right? And this is what happens. This is why this is a perfect example, especially on something that's low volume, of why I do not like to trade in the box. Even if you think you see something, trading inside of the box is a blurry area. Um, that being said, you did engulf what happened yesterday. You are closing up against that lower time frame wall that we had established, I believe, yesterday. So I have no reason not to believe that you'll go to 99.71. At that point, you got to take your fucking shot, right? Shit, man, that kind of has me fucking thinking. Hold on a second. You know what? Let's just blow my fucking account on Walmart. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. So I don't. It's my stomach talking. What's up, Mike? What'd you forget? Earnings on Walmart? Oh, on Zoomies. Okay, well then I would the same analysis, but hopefully faster. 18, you know. But go look back and see how those earnings do. All right, let's see. You're 7 days away. We're looking at a 103 target. 103 contracts are $10. How long would we expect for Walmart to take moving through that empty space? Let's take a little quick measurement here. Open wide. Empty space. That's the 4-hour chart. So 1, 2, 3. Standard issue 3-day run. So 1, 2, 3. I could see that being the same case there. Let's visualize. That looks about right. I'm going to take a shot on those 103s. I'll buy 40 contracts and see if I can add next week. Low risk. I'll take 6 of those with $400, and if one of them wins, doesn't even matter. BA up.
Just joined this Signet chat. You said 103s for next week.
I didn't say anything. What are you talking about, dude? I haven't even charged Walmart yet. Yeah.
Not even charted it.
Damn. 2 weeks or 1 week?
Oh my God.
I knew it.
I'm about to give you guys 2 weeks. Let's see here. So I'm looking at the 4-hour, and the 4-hour showing resilience at cost basis. So it is certainly a possibility to get up and out of there. Baba Yaga, I'm about to Yaga your Baba. All right, Bubba, you need to hit me up so we can get on. Yeah, I am. Get on that Google Arrow, dude. And look, I've been making weird. Oh, that's not it. That's it. Dude, I've been experimenting. Look at this. That's not even real. I didn't touch my glasses. That's just a picture.
That's pretty cool, man.
It's fucking look, this is me fighting in a
I watched
nightclub. Yeah, dude. Sorry, I'm getting distracted, but look at that. Me fighting other stock influencers. It looks more like we're dancing.
It
That's
looks
not-
like they're pouring oil on you.
Yeah, that's
where's
what.
the video at?
Yeah, look,
Damn.
Watching the cheese one for a good hour.
dude. It was actually really funny. Look at this guy in the back. Look at him. He's fucking yeeted.
Was that Manny?
That's got to be Manny. It's pretty fun. Anyway, yeah, Zesty Potter. You know, I can't see the stream because you're too popular. Oh my god, I called you, but you don't call back. All right, does everybody hear that? I don't treat anybody unequally. All right, everybody gets the. What did you call me? All right.
I ignore everybody just the same.
That's right. Independent traders. That's right. I get tunnel vision, okay? It's not my fault. Airbnb.
What the dog doing?
What is the dog doing? Airbnb. I mean, fuck. How do you really... That's a fucking nice reversal off of that floor there. Looks like there's a smaller, lower time frame channel right here. Oh yeah. The Walmart 103s. It's cheap. It's low risk. Target based. We'll see what we get. I'm about to spooky bit bop biddity boop bop on the ass. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Next week though, right?
Yes. There has been multiple
Gracias.
injuries. So for Airbnb, from what I can see now, right? My real that is it, right? If you want to, and that actually does not look like a bad play. Lower time frame, 135 target on the 24 hour. 4 hour time frame says the same exact thing. You're bouncing off the floor. You got a gap to fill at 130. You got empty space back up there. You have that channel that I was referring to again. Bam, bam. So really, the only thing that I would worry about is and again, I take channels with a grain of salt, and I got high blood pressure, so I try to stay away. But that 130.65 is, again, where I would take it. You have a small gap fill up to, and this is where, again, attention to detail is key. There's a gap. So that gap could be the stopping place. But if you blow past that, you got a nice target up there to 135. Not a lot of open interest on the Walmart 103s. Yeah. And if it does go up, guess who will be interested in it? Other people. It'll dry. I like to buy it, so a lot of the contracts that I buy will have lower volume on them, right? The concept behind, there's some attentiveness to like the volume on certain options. Like if there's too much volume on options or not enough, like there's zero, like there's nothing, and the spread's fucked. Like, okay, maybe that, that deters me. But on a regular ass stock, on something that's institutionally owned, to me, it's not an issue. I'll buy something that is low volume. So think about why is it low volume? Why wouldn't something be selling? It's not popular. Why would it not be popular? Probably because the stock is not going anywhere. So if it's not going anywhere, it's in a box. And if it's in a box, I'm probably going to touch it. All right. Though for earnings, it's 350 here, guys. You're going to make a decision on the Qs. It does look like they're trying to signal for it to go north, but again, my real want is to see a 522.65 break, and I don't want to participate in chop inside of that. So there's a move on Qs to into this empty space, right? You go to, and this is pre-market empty space, but it would be, you are not going anywhere unless you go to 522.62. Then you get 525.50. To me, it just doesn't seem all that interesting. You know, breaking over 525, 522.80 or gapping up above it, you know, could have a tremendous outcome. But at that point, then you would have to 525 would kind of be that break point. So, all right. If though earnings. So the question, I'm gonna do this really quickly because again, earnings. So you get a big fat dump on earnings. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Big dumpy. Nothing, nothing. Big rippy. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So it goes in a cycle of nothing, 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 rippy, or nothing, rippy, nothing. What? Sally sells seashells on the seashore. I mean, when I look at this, man, it's like, you know, I'm always going to target the empty space above on earnings. That's what I'm going to do, you know. So if you can, I'd say 95.50. If not, you're probably going to have a shit earnings and be at 75.45. DLTR. So this is, I mean, what are you trying to do here? Final push. Oh, you want to get the rest of that empty space. It's 92.35, Chief. Must happen. And that's, yeah, you are holding up. You are doing your job, right? You're not finishing the job, but you're doing your job. So mark out 88 as this, as the shit ain't going nowhere. Dojo. What's up, dude? Randy. This guy's been calling me Randy for like a long time. My name's not Randy. If I had like a really serious mustache, I think I could pass as a Randy, but sadly I do not. I was built for speed.
It's Randolph, right?
Randolph.
I think you make him Randy.
Gandalf?
There you go.
Randall that likes candles.
Randy's handies. Whoa, hold on.
Yeah, it's a good
57.25 is recovery. You're building a box around cost basis. I swear to God, don't fucking start with me. 57.25, and then you have empty space up above. To the downside, if you break below this box, so you're literally, that is about dead slap center in between two signals you can get. You again, empty space down is a preference, but that is lower time frame mapping, right? So you're about maxed out. The move should happen next week. You could go and retest 57 and then dump, or you could, I think typically, well, I don't think, but usually if you're going to go up, you'll wick down and then whip up. But take that break, a 30-minute break of range, or 30-minute break of whatever they call it. NVO Noro disc. Noro. Who the fuck is that? That is a raggedy ass cat outside of my house right now. I think that's, dude, one of my chickens died last night. Oh, sad. Now I only have 6 chickens.
And some rotisserie.
Yeah, no, fucking, I'm not gonna say what I did, but I caught the ass end of this cat killing my chicken, and I may or may not have had a long wooden object. I hit it right in the butt.
Rotisserie was a pretty good joke.
That was terrible. Man, that guy. 73.80 is what I see in front of me, but this is a doo-doo hot dog water stock that moves in doo-doo hot dog water ways. Yeah, I am Baba Yaga. Not right now. Let's see here. How do I?
ULTRs testing all-time highs.
Here we go, Hughes.
There you go. I hate when they rip it at the end of the day like this.
What
Though.
did I say, Chad? What did I say?
What did he say?
End of the day,
I
it's
got a
always
second chance to redeem myself, and I did. I sold 20 contracts and 100 shares.
So now the gains on Elf are just gains. Right? Right? Uh-oh.
Talking to me?
I was talking to Chad. Young Chadwick.
No. Oh, yeah. You're right. Thank you.
You said they were just Band-Aids earlier.
Well, they were covering my
Queen.
big ass losses on Palantir. So
I saw
just
that.
hedged my bets now. So I think we're good. I'm gonna hold these 30 and 300 for the rest of the way.
Life. Yes, Queen.
At
Busy
least
if
until
you
July.
listen, I caught you red-handed twice now. We're gonna get you. You know what? We'll only give soundboard privileges to people who use their mic, so then that way I have the option to clip them. Sounds like a good idea. What do I feel about 205 QQQ calls for December 17th of 2027? 205 calls? How do I feel about that? Brother, hold on. Are you talking about... Hold on. There's gotta be a typo there. Are you fucking rich?
No typo.
On that?
I just wanted to get your opinion.
Dude, you're that's beyond me. I have no idea, dude. That's so far deep dark in the damn money. 205s. God damn, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just looking at the chain. I didn't even know they fucking would let you go down that far.
Yeah, you're buying in the money call. That's some Nancy Pelosi shit right there, dude. The question. I mean, I'm just saying, when you're that deep in the money, and that far out, I mean, it's almost just like an equity purchase at that point. But yeah, I guess this would be if you're going to buy something long and with a decent expiration, you know exactly where you need to get out, and we do have the potential to punch through or push over and make all-time highs. So, but other than that, I have nothing to offer. I'm an out of the money guy.
No, yeah, they're like $37,000 a contract.
Yeah, that's just not in my price range,
Sign me up for 3 of them.
Hey, I'll take 4 brand new cars worth of contracts, please. Jesus Christ.
What do those contracts cost you for Honda Civics?
I bet you're the kind of kid who'd ask, like, what does the sky taste like in kindergarten?
What does Potter's box taste like?
You know what? That's
The
old.
sky when it rains.
Get this guy out of here. DocuSign next next week. That's a tough one. Let's see here. So I don't see anything clear. And again, I make a lot of money off of clarity, but let's see if we can't polish the windows. Well, you're either looking at a record-breaking fucking dumpy, and you can go to 66. I mean, but I think the real question is, how do you move? You do move, but you don't hold. You move, but you do hold. You don't move. You don't move. You don't move. You do move. You kind of move, but late. Yeah, hit or miss. So I'm not. Yeah, maybe you break cost basis and you rip up to 107. That's really it. No plays over the weekend. Walmart looked all right to me. Oh my God, look at that rejection at the last very fucking minute of the day. Hold on, let me buy my puts now. No, I'm just kidding. Nvidia punch back down. I think that's inevitable. But like everything, right? And every single setup that we have in front of us, there's this. And what happens there? No telling, right? Theoretically, you could wick down there, whip back up, or I'm looking at the same thing as you guys. I want the same thing as every single person in here, right? When it comes to what's below us, delicious. That's a high quality cut of meat. But there's triggers, and there's too much speculation of what might happen in between here, right, and where it needs to break. So, not to disappoint, but not to say that that's not a great setup. Yes, it's right there, but the way that they're moving this market, it just really feels like with that empty space above us, we've seen this before, that you could whip up, whip down, retest, and then maybe after creating some tension, break down. But we'll play this one. I actually have, I think going into next week, NVIDIA is something that I would absolutely like to take a part of. Tesla is one that, or TSLL is one that I would absolutely love to take a bite of. And Tesla actually, that was a pretty damn good close right there. So the answer to your question, yes, like over the weekend, I can't. Who knows? The chart is pushing us down, holding, and with that rejection that we just saw, I might have to swing some ETFs to the downside, which you still have 14 minutes or 13 minutes to do. Potential tropical development. AccuWeather meteorologists are honing in on a potential tropical development in the Atlantic during the second week of June in the waters of the Caribbean and to the Gulf. The Gulf of what? Mexico?
America.
Oh my fucking God.
Gulf of America.
America.
Excuse me, English or Spanish?
English or Spanish? Whoever moves first, he's gay. All right. Yeah, hold on one second. I'm looking at IWM with that nasty rejection here. IWM.
Yeah, IWM looks the best out of the three, in my opinion, for a downplay.
You said IWM does?
Yeah, SPY doesn't look good at all.
The only thing
is questionable.
The only thing that freaks me out about that one is the fat ass wick underneath it. But
yeah, that tap to cost space is a 203.50. So I was thinking 202s or maybe 200s. Probably 202s.
I want empty space, Chad, under me. That's really where I think that's where safety is at for me. In areas where I feel not as confident, it's that, on the 24-hour. That feels, safer to me. But one of the things that I talked about earlier this week was that, and this is, an area for sure. If you can afford to speculate, do that. But here's the deal. We are in between that and that. And if you don't think that they're going to chop your nuts up into between these two walls for a short period of time, that's my fear. And so how can I expect, right? It would have to be a major catalyst, which a lot of the times we can see before they happen. But even today, right, with the close that we just got on the 24-hour and the I'll put that back where it was. Yeah, right there. And what we have to break above to even move higher, right? That's right here. So to next week would not be surprising. If we want to take it down, just like I said earlier, if we want to take it down, tap, that's where you want to try. That's where you want to try to go short, because that's where I think we would move down. That might happen over the weekend or on Sunday. But the fact of the matter is this box right here, right? And I know some of you who are newer are like, why the fuck isn't it going higher? That has already been punched through. It popped up. It made a new high. It failed. It sat for 4 days trying to hold that high, dropped back under, and we got our signal to go short. Now we're just reusing the same containment, same floor, same ceiling as that box, but without the trigger. The only trigger is getting back outside of that original box that you fell through. Once you get above that, it's plain as day. You take it to the highs. So what's in between me right now on any time frame that shows me this, right? We have maybe the potential punchback and the move over 522 to get back up there. We also have what you could say is a rejection of cost basis right now, and the empty space you created to the downs or underneath you, right? 15 minutes, pretty flaccid. But ultimately, that's where I just don't, it looks on the 15-minute actually looks clear that it'll go tap that. But this is actually the moment. These are the moments, right? Where some people do and they shouldn't. And you look back at like why you made that decision and you're like, it wasn't fucking clear. Why did I do that? Now, if Trump does something stupid or something crazy happens over the weekend and the market just completely flushes, I didn't have any information that told me that. Other than maybe a candle close under where we were supposed to make our highs. But the dump that you the dump that you are seeking is not here. Is all the fucking way down at 505. That's where I see, right? And you could go down, look, 505, 35. Also, cost basis. Beautiful. So we have everything we need. So if you're, and not to mention, right, we also have uptrend structure. Beautiful. Patience. This is patience. Yeah.
So on that, what trips me up is, waiting for that 505, right? And then it hitting and then bouncing, right? Because especially with quad witching coming up.
That's my point. Yeah, to my point, right? So if I was to take a short now and aim for 505, right? That's not something that I'm looking to hold weekly contracts through. I don't short daily, weekly. If you open up on the floor, day trade opens up, right? That's what I want. If you open up underneath a floor, okay, down. We can look at what's underneath us. But with this, right, if you, let's say, next week we tap up, we hit 525, wick right back down, close underneath 522, and then we go for that gap. That could open up as a decent lower time frame trade, right? But more than likely, even if it's just for the rest of for half the day, you're going to bounce. There's weekly, daily, 24-hour, 4-hour floors. They're going to respond. The stronger the floor, which is relevant to the time frame, is going to tell you whether or not, even if it's momentary, where you're going to bounce. The only way, right? And you guys hear me say, put your foot on the gas pedal. How do you put your foot on the gas pedal? Catalyst. News. Right? Something that we can see on the chart already, but pushes us further. So if we take that trade and what spurs it to the downside is, we're back to square one with tariffs, whatever the case is. I'm too scared to make up a scenario because it'll probably come fucking true. But that's where we keep moving, right? That's what breaks daily floors. But you know what happens is you usually will flush underneath it, hit your target, and then you will bounce right back up and try to hold on to that floor as you go to retest it. So if you're feeling impatient, that's fine. You can feel however you want to feel. But for me, I want to take something too. I want to make money. I just had a great week. I just had ULTA, feeling beautiful. But there is no reason right now for me to take anything. I don't see anything. I'm forcing it if I do, or I'm being speculative, right? And that's where, even what we were just talking about with, Chad, like, if I take this, it is only purely speculation, and the best way to speculate is with low risk, high reward options, right? Which means that the cues would need to be priced for 3 days away. Wait, do we have? 3 days.
I just want to clarify. The only reason I was bringing that up is to hedge up positions in case the market dumped over the weekend.
Really
I
fine.
wasn't
Yeah.
trying to make a play. I
No,
just
no.
wanted to look for a downside hedge. I
For this is for
Case-
anybody. I'm just setup wise feel like this has to be said. I'm just saying that's, what are the
No, and I
reasons
need to hear
why?
it too. I just didn't want you to misunderstand what I was asking about IWM.
No,
I
of
was just looking
course.
for a downside hedge to protect my other plays.
Totally. Hey, you been WhatsApp? I do not have a WhatsApp. If you are getting texts from a WhatsApp person, start saying the weirdest shit you could possibly think of to them. The text will be deleted. If there's anything you ever wanted to say, but maybe it's illegal, I would do it there and to that person. Anyway, so let's just take a little peek, right, and see what those are like. The gap is closed at 509. Right, so 509 contracts are sitting at $35. Right, that's the median end of the contracts. Per 80 or 50 would be a little high. And so yeah, for somebody like Chad who's looking to hedge himself over the weekend, totally understandable. That's where you are looking at the worst case scenario, and that's where I want empty space. So like you're saying, if we were to pop down, right, and somehow open up under 505 or whatever the case may be, that's the worst case scenario is you dump. Now we would have intermediate targets or right here, 497.35. That's your open. That's going to bounce. So you would have to target, five either. Well, let me see. That's 509s. What about 505s? So 505s are fucking 14 cents. That's for people who are looking to protect themselves. And again, some of you are doing well as far as trading is concerned. Maybe you made, 15 bands this week. If you throw $300, I do that shit all the time. I just don't do it enough to fucking bleed my account dry. Who can teach me? That's what I'm doing right now. Shouty. Ask questions. Go to my YouTube channel. It will help out a lot. Do you feel bonita? I do feel bonita. Yeah. But again, we went over this, and this is just a reminder. Not everything is going to be perfect, but a lot of things are worth waiting for. We went over a few setups to remind everybody, and I think closing the week and likely opening the week next week this will probably help. Even if it's earnings, right? Someone, if you want to post the earnings calendar really quickly, I'll just scroll over that thing. Oh, that's fucking terrifying. Why would you do that? Let's see here. Hey Potter, been binging your YouTube content. Fuck yeah. Write down your questions. I'm just starting, needing some help. Absolutely. If you are just starting and needing some help, go to my YouTube channel, slow down, stop taking trades, start focusing on learning a strategy, or obviously mine. But anyway, what I was saying is the setups that we're looking for, right? Don't they don't leave us questioning, right? Whether something it's clear. The reaction, look at ANF, goddamn money. But the setup is clear. The empty space is clear. The consolidation is clear. So you look at these setups and you compare it to what we're seeing now. This doesn't mean that there's probably 20 setups right now that look very close to what we see on Schwab or on Mara. Those are the ones that I want to load the boat on. I want to put, the whole, whatever, 1,500, two stacks into those trades. But that's where our focus should be. It is 415. Yeah. I am. Yeah. So if you are on here, You just wait for the announcement. We'll have the announcement for the tickets or whatever you want to call them. It feels weird calling them tickets, but earnings whisper. Okay, so next week we have opening on Monday, which is not relevant to us. Some bullshit stock after close. Before the open, you have Dollar General. I'm going to speed chart these really quickly to look for clarity, right? Empty space. And hopefully through this example, I can actually show you guys what I'm looking for going into an earnings setup. So this has a box, broke out of the box after breaking out of this area consolidation, retested exactly where we talked about it retesting, right? So it tested the floor and it has come back. So going into earnings, right? The potential is to stay within this range that you've created. Because I don't see a lot of empty space to the down. Oh, shit, what the fuck is that? But remember, channels are meant to expand and contract. But at the moment, right, that median confluential target. So for earnings, you know, the obvious 115.50 above you would be the first target to the upside. I don't hate it. I'm not a huge fan. I would actually really love to see Monday pull it all the way back to 94. If it did that, then I'd probably take it because the empty space would be filled up. There wouldn't be anything underneath you. And the only thing that you'd be risking is an $83 drop, which you could probably hedge for, but the contracts would need to fit the script. Neo, nope. Signet. Damn. 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 Okay. You get little rippies. Not a crazy target, but it does look like it could give you a big green dingus into the $73 area. 73, 75, 74. Am I recording this? Yes, it'll be on YouTube later. Okay, so I don't know. I'd have to look at the contracts. I might write that one down. Fuck it, I'll write it down, but doesn't mean I'm gonna take it. Sig Jewelers. Oh, I feel bad doing that. Betraying my homie. All right, let's see here. Ollie. Nope. That either shoots into motherfucking all-time highs. I've never seen an Ollie's bargain outlet in my life. But wherever these fucking exist, you are in consolidation actually. And you are up at the highs. So the only place that I'd be looking is up, but I can't give you a target because I don't have a system that lets me trade into all-time highs. So I would be focused probably on Shabao. I wouldn't aim all the way into the 200s, but I would use Fibonacci and aim for a psychological. I would assume 170 and 160 would be two targets to watch for. That's a weirder one, not a straightforward one. Berg. Ugh, never mind. CrowdStrike. What the fuck? Oh shit! No way. This thing is ATL. Oh yeah, we're not gonna do that. I don't really like the ones that are already at their highs. They either just shoot up into new highs or see small retracements. Why wouldn't you use an extension? What do you mean, like Fibonacci's? That's the only thing I could use to find a sensible target. I don't have a system that helps me with all-time highs. I'm just going to go ahead and say no on that one. I feel like I'm forcing. Yeah, we looked at that one. I think what I was focused on is the earnings. Earnings does typically actually give you a pretty decent move. So such a yucky ass stock, dude. Holy shit. So either A, you have some crazy ass channel and this thing's gonna drop into 16, or it's gonna pop and it could hit 20. But I mean honestly that, yeah, I would say 20. I don't know how I feel. That one doesn't, I just don't get the, you know, I don't know. Doesn't give me the fucking The warm fuzzies, dude. Need that. I guess I shouldn't skip. What the fuck is Guidewire software? Earnings. I don't know. I'd have to take a look at the contracts on that one, but again, not really my favorite being up at the highs. Afghan Express, thanks for the follow. That's funny. What a mess. What's a mess? How do you create channels with the parallel channel tool? I'm looking through these earnings right now. I'm just trying to see if I see anything that stands out. Not really. That means you might have to go through fucking 900 fucking earnings. That's a hot dog water stock. What is that? Vehicles for Life? Rev Group? That's a hard pass. Does that move on earnings? What the fuck? Has it never had earnings? That's an interesting one, but not one that I think I want to take. Let's see here. MDB. I'm picky. You know what? That actually has a kind of a crazy ass fucking setup right there. That one actually might be good. Right? Tons of consolidation. The question here is, yes, you do. Big move down. Massive move down. Big fucking move up. Okay, so that one's making the watch. Do you see how easy that is? That's easy. That was fucking easy. Why am I writing with a pencil? Was this fucking middle school? MDB. Inverse Head and Shoulders. You could say that. Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock into patterns, but that is one of the statistically higher returning setups that still holds some value. PVH, that's a no. 5. I'm cool on that one. PL. Nope. Charge point. I'm not gonna say no right now. Burnett. That actually doesn't look bad, even though it's kind of a shitty stock. But look at that. You might have a boop and move right up to 2070. If that one interests you, you might want to write that down. It's a weird one. Bark? Nope. The bad boy. What the fuck? Who names their company after that? That was weird. TLYS. Tilly's. What the fuck is a Tilly? That's a hard no. CIEN. It does like to rip on earnings. You have a fucking weird gap up to 95. But that one's just not clear. So no forcing it. CBRL. Cracker Barrel. Ooh, hold on. How did it do on earnings though? Doesn't hold. No. 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 Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. No, I don't have any broker deals. Yeah, MDB did look good. Yeah. Oh, I skipped Mama. Yeah, that's a hard pass. SPWR. No, that's not it. S W H. Sportsman was warehouse. Nope. LE lands in. Nope. BFB. What the fuck is that? Hold on. UTC. Toro Company. Nope. Momo. Nope. VSCO or whoops, VCSO. How about VSCO? Dyslexic ass. Hold on a second. That looks pretty cool. Hold on. Weekly. Big fucking floor. Juicy bounce. Empty space above. Target of 29.85. Did they get bought out? I think they did. Stupid little channel here. Nah. Nah. Box below. Hmm. Hmm. That was probably gonna be cheap. I might check that one out up to 26. I'll write that one down as well. Yeah, private equity. That's right. Nope. All-time highs. But I don't do that, so DocuSign. I mean, you got the punch over 93 fit 40. But all I could aim for is 107. That would probably be dictated how the contracts are. You take that one down to 285. I might write that one down. That might be a better downside one. Oh. Oh. No. All right. I think that's about it. Wolf, maybe. Nope. Yeah, we already did that one. And nope.
Junior sell, have you look at TNDM? Not for earnings, but just to play down. It looked like a good chart.
Yeah, actually, they're going to 18 flat.
The contracts are garbage, so I was gonna take it, but I didn't like there's like no volume in the contracts.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We did look at that, didn't we?
Yeah, that's why I was telling you, Chad. I was like, nah, that's why I changed my mind.
I gotta get better looking at the chat.
This one just looks like it's going to hit a downtrend, but didn't break. Yeah, so with that nasty ass wick up there, You would need to go sideways, build on top of 478. Do you lean on the Elliott wave principle at all? I do inside of structure. Wave theory? Yeah. All right, guys. That's about it. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I'll be posting the dates. I have had him michelada. But I'll post the dates for the workshop. I hope I see everybody there. Yeah, again, hopefully this week, apart from my hodling, I make 6 figures weekly with the help of Twitter trackers. I'm gonna call bullshit on that, my boy.
Chef,
Yes.
hey, I just wanted to confirm the last live class for the workshop. Are you gonna be on TikTok or no?
No. This is purely in the Discord, or
Uh,
I'm gonna have to make a stage channel.
in the on the workshop server?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make a stage in there, and then that way, because otherwise, um, we would have to have everybody streaming, and
Uh-huh.
this could
Right.
go fucking all night.
I
So
can I can do it. I can create the stage channel for you on the workshop server.
yeah, we'll get if you could do that, get the stage up, and then that's really it. We'll just all be recording from 2 different devices, and then you as well. So
Okay, chef.
I'm not. No. The workshop is in the work. So yeah, we have 25% off yearly and lifetime. That comes with the fucking workshop. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you've seen enough, but I was telling a lot of you guys, are like waiting for this new workshop, the one that I'm putting out, and I'm just trying to tell you guys that, it's all pre-recorded, so it's just, maybe more organized. But if I had a choice between that or a in-person class that's a week long, starting from start to finish, I would, and it's cheaper. I'm saving you guys money there, but it's like that's where I would prefer to be. So I think it's the most beneficial to be able to ask questions, or um, have me elaborate. If I didn't explain it well or it didn't make sense, you can ask. Hey, because one thing you'll hear when I was doing the last workshops is like, does everybody get this? Is everybody, are we cool? Before we move on. So. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop recording this. If you guys are on YouTube, look for that link. It'll be on the website and in the free Discord. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Get some rest, and we
Do
shall.
Garrett.
Yeah, we'll start again next week. So.